Hello, my name is Talia Smith, and welcome to The Body. Now, today we are going to be talking about the Proverbs 31 woman, and I am going to be coming out of Proverbs 31, 10 through 31. And as you know, in the body, we pray before we say. So I'm going to go ahead and pray before I get into the message. So, Heavenly Father, thank you so much for giving me the ability to wake up today, oh God. Thank you for the person that is watching this, oh God. I pray that this doesn't fall on deaf ears. I pray that it helps them grow into the roles that you have called them to have, oh God. God, I pray that they see marriage and as a wife, as a ministry, and not as a hindrance, not as a chore, not as anything other than what you have called it to be. God, I thank you for the creation of marriage. I thank you for your word. I thank you for what you use in your word to teach us to be better for you, oh God, for your glory. So God, I thank you. I pray that if anything I say doesn't align with your word, I pray you shut my mouth, and I pray that you just move through me, oh God, and speak to your people. In Jesus' mighty name I pray. Amen. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each verse to talk about it. So the first verse about the virtuous woman, which is also called a wife of noble character. And I'm going to be reading out of the New Living Translation, so the NLT version. And it says, "Who can find a virtuous woman and capable wife? She is more precious than rubies." So the first note I have about that is a wife should be virtuous and capable. That makes her the most precious. So virtuous means that you have morals. You have high moral standards. Like, you're not just going to be doing anything. You're not going to join crowds if it doesn't align with God's word. Like, you're not just going to just do anything. Capable. And I'm reading off my notes that I have on my laptop. So if you see me doing this, that's what I'm doing. But so capable means that you're able to achieve efficiently in everything you do. So a wife of noble character is capable to complete the task. She's qualified. Okay, so the next verse 11. And it says, "Her husband can trust her, and she will greatly enrich his life." So I'm going to read that one more time. Her husband can trust her, and she will greatly enrich his life. So trustworthy and someone who can add value to her husband's life. So that is someone, if you are a virtuous wife, not just a virtuous woman, but a wife of noble character. Your husband has to trust you. If he doesn't trust your judgment, if he doesn't trust, who you are or what you do or your intentions, then you're not being the noble wife that God has called you to be. So if you are struggling with having a husband that doesn't trust you or doesn't value you or doesn't feel like you add value to his life, pray to God and say, hey, God, he doesn't see my value. Show him my value. God, I want him to trust me. Teach me how to be in alignment with you so that he can see that he can trust me, God. So just continue to be prayerful of each and everything so that you are able to live up to who God has called you to be as a wife. All right, so the next verse is, "She brings him good," and he's talking about the husband. "She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life." So that might hit a lot of people with a ton of bricks because sometimes it's hard being a wife and meaning no harm to your husband sometimes, even with your words. But in order to be the type of wife that God has called you to be, you have to bring your husband good. And if you think about it, like when Adam was in the garden with Eve and she was created and she was presented to him, he looked at her and said, she's suitable. Like, I like that. Like, that's bone of my flesh, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. Like, she's suitable for me. She brought, I don't know if I can say she brought him good. But initially, she brought him good by by having her her presence brought him good. Now, let's see. So verse 13, it says, she finds wool and flax and busily spins it. So with that one, I put, she is someone who finds work and does it diligently. So she isn't someone who just lays on her butt and doesn't try to find something to do. Now, I have my seasons and my days where I'm like, I don't feel like doing no dishes. I don't feel like doing no laundry. I don't want to cook for nobody. We can eat cereal. Like, I have those days. But God isn't calling you to be like that. You know, sometimes it's okay to have rest. He said it's okay to have rest. But you can't rest every day. So, someone who finds work and does it diligently. You are constant. You are doing it, and you're finding things to do. You're not just, oh, I have nothing to do. You're finding things to do. Oh, I see the clothes needs to be washed. Let me go ahead and wash that. Oh, I see the kids haven't had lunch. Let me go ahead and see what I can whip out. Oh, I see I don't know what I'm making this week. Let me think about it. What do I have in my kitchen? You know what I'm saying? So, like, you find work because there's always something to do. All right, so the next verse is verse 14. And that says, she is like a merchant ship, bringing her food from afar. So with that, it's like you are willing to do whatever it takes to go get food. If you got to go way out there to go get food for your family, you're doing that. You're doing whatever it takes to feed your family. Now, verse 15, she gets up, and this is the hard one right here. She gets up before dawn to prepare breakfast for her household and plan the day's work for her servant girls. Now, we ain't living in that time where we got the servant girls, you know, but kudos to them because they had servant girls. We out here doing it by ourselves. But getting up before your family, that is the hardest thing, but it's necessary. Because I get up before my family. Whether I like it or not, I get up before my family. I try to take care of myself, and then get their breakfast, lunches together, things like that, iron their clothes or whatever. But if that's something that you need help with, definitely, again, pray for it. God will give you the desire, or he'll give you the discipline and turn it into a desire. So just ask him for it, because it will happen. Because I know with myself, one thing I do as a tip to try to get me up is I put my phone away from me. I do it sometimes. I don't do it all the time, so we're going to be real. But the times that I do put my phone away from me, not in the bed with me, not on the floor next to me, none of that, I put it like on my desk, which is like maybe like 10, 12 steps from my bed. But when I do that and the alarm goes off, it makes me get up quicker. So set a ringtone for yourself that you like, oh, I'm gonna get up to this. Don't set nothing that's gonna soothe you and put you back to sleep. Try to find something that's gonna wake you up so you can get up. Because like they also say in the world, the early bird gets the worm. And if you get up early and you prepare for your family, you have less stress. When I get up and I take care of everything runs smoothly. But when I drag my feet and I get up late and all that kind of stuff, I'll be having a stressful morning. So it's very important. I see the importance of it. All right, so the next one is 16. She goes to inspect a field and buys it. With her earnings, she plants a vineyard. So she doesn't just buy anything for her family. That's what I got from that. Like, she doesn't just go, oh, I just bought it for my family. We need this. But she inspects it, makes sure it's good for them. And then she buys it. And then she uses what she bought and makes it multiply. She expects a field and makes it a vineyard. Like, it's not just a field, it's something that she used to turn into a vineyard that is going to help her family in the long run. So She has purpose. She sees the future. She plans for the future to take care of her family. And in our modern day, that could look like with myself, that can look like making sure my kids have snacks, or making sure I have the water filled, or like yesterday morning, I made pancakes and I made sure I made enough. And today, this morning, we heated up them pancakes, and I just made some sausages and eggs to go with it, so that, my kids and my husband and myself would have a full breakfast. And it wasn't hard for me because it was pretty much done. So stuff like that. So the next thing is verse 17. She is energetic and strong and a hard worker. Now, I'm working on the energetic part because it's a lot having a family and being a wife. And it's not always something that you feel energetic or feel like doing. It is a ministry, so it can pull on you a little bit. So, we all have to be in prayer. Like, hey, God, give me the energy. One thing, and I didn't realize I do this, but I get up and I'll be like, God, give me the strength to handle this day. Because I done already woke up like, I ain't ready. So I definitely be like, hey, God, give me the strength to get through this day, because I don't know how I'm going to get through this day. Or I'll say, because God is wisdom, right? That's another verse. God is wisdom. It comes straight from him. So another thing I would do is I'll be like, God, grant me the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to handle my day. And he will. He'll give me the knowledge and understanding to be able to tackle the day that I have in front of me before I even know what I have. So that's something you can do. And a hard worker. So you don't become a godly wife by not working hard. This is ministry. Anything you do for God is not always going to be easy. Think about Jesus. He died on the cross. That's the hardest thing ever. He was beat to the cross, then was nailed to it, then had to wear a crown of thorns. You get what I'm saying? Like, it is not easy. So you have to be willing to do the work. The next thing, 18. She makes sure her dealings are profitable. Her lamps burns late into the night. So I'm going to read what I put for that too. She does not waste time on things that does not add value to her life. Now, one thing I'm working on, which I have the screen time to help me, but when you're scrolling on social media too long, you have stuff to do. You have a family to serve. You have things to do. Social media will make you feel like you ain't got nothing to do and you got time to scroll. Yeah, you can scroll for a little bit, but the moment it turns into 5, 6, 2, 3, 4 hours of scrolling, that time could be used to help your family in some kind of way. That time could be used to spend time with God. You rob yourself of time, and I know something that's why I'm prayerful as well. You rob yourself of time with God when you spend mostly on social media. You rob God of that time. All right, so verse 19. And that says, her hands are busy spinning thread, her fingers twisting fiber. So she put her all into everything she does. She used her fingers and her hands. They doing two different things. She puts her all into everything she does. Verse 20. She extends a helping hand to the poor and opens her arms to the needy. So in order to be, like I said, this is ministry. It's not just for your household though, because you're a wife of noble character. Your character shows who you are. So your character is going to be the part of you that it will extend to the poor. Like I know, like before me and my husband got married, this is how I knew like this my guy for real. I took out an extra $20 and I wasn't balling at all. Just $20, right? But that $20 it can stretch. So the $20, I was at the bank and I was getting money out, and I took an extra 20 out by accident, but it was on God's purpose. And when I looked, I seen a homeless man sitting down on the ground, laying down or whatever. He was something, but I seen the homeless man. My husband was in the car with me too, and we both looked at each other, and I said, hey, I had this extra 20. And we looked at each other and we said, give it to him. And we gave it to him. We were on the same page. Give to the poor. Verse 21. She has no fear of winter for her household, for everyone has warm clothes. So, like I said, she prepares. I have friends who say, hey, I buy certain stuff in this season for the next season. They're always constantly preparing for their family. And I know sometimes that's difficult because I've had times where I ain't making enough to be able to keep up with that and make sure they have this and make sure they have that. But God always find a way. There's times where I'm like, God, my kids need shoes. I ain't got no way to get them no shoes. And a neighbor would be like, hey, I got some shoes for your sons. Or a family member would be like, hey, I got some shoes for your daughter. I got some clothes for your daughter. And I got clothes for you. I got shoes for you. So God always provides. He has they will give coats. They'll give all that kind of stuff. And I wouldn't have to pay for anything. But, okay, so the next one, she makes her own bedspreads. She dresses in fine linen and purple gowns. So with that, she's useful. She makes her own stuff. But she dresses in fine linen and purple gowns. So that lets me know that she doesn't look a mess. She doesn't look like she's going through. She keeps herself together. And that's something that I know is hard when you have a family and you're taking care of everybody else, because it seems like you take care of everybody else, but then by the time it's time to take care of you, you don't have the time. But orchestrate that time. Make the time. You make time for what's important to you. If you can make time for your family and making sure they got everything they need, you can make time for yourself, because you cannot show up for them if you can't show up for you. And that's something that I'm working on. Like with myself, it's really my dress, how I dress. That's something I'm working on. My hair, I'll do something to my hair. But how I look as far as my clothes and stuff, I don't sweats, t-shirt, pant, shoes, I'm done. But no, I have to put more effort than that. But one thing you can do, like, hey, with your hair, I'm a natural girly. As you can see, I've been natural since 2013. But one thing I do is I'll twist my hair. I wear mini twists for about 2 weeks, take them out, wear it like this, and for another 2 weeks, and then I'll put my hair up in maybe a high puff or put in a bun or something. And then I wash it and I repeat it, and I continue to do that. Now, I'm not doing nothing extravagant, but it's something that, for one, helps my hair grow. For two, it makes me look presentable, and I'm still taking care of myself. So it doesn't have to be extravagant. You ain't got to put a 20-inch bust down in or spend all this money on your hair and all that kind of stuff, or your nails. You can get some cheap paint and paint your nails. My nails ain't done, I know. But, you can do small things. You can get a little razor and arch your, do your eyebrows. You can do all kind of stuff. It's ways around it without even having the funds. But the next thing, 23. Her husband is well known at the city gates, where he sits with the other civic leaders. So she's not just a woman of noble character. Her husband is known. He's known for good things in the city. He's not known for being a terrible husband or terrible guy. He's well known. Like, people know him. And he's invested. Like, with her husband, he's known in the city gates. In order to be known in the city gates, you got to be invested in the community. So your husband has to be invested in something that's not just serving y'all. It has to serve a greater purpose, if that be his calling. Or it could be, hey, he's known at his job, and people are they know who they are when they see him. They can come to him. He can minister to them. That he's known. You know, he doesn't have to be widely known around the world, but he's known. He's known for his character as well. The next thing, verse 24. She makes belted linen garments and sashes to sell to merchants. So she is someone who is going to find a way to get the funds to take care of her family. I know this is for me, but I no longer do this because God has sat me down. But it was a point in time where I was doing extra gigs. I told you I didn't have the money, so I was over here I was doing I'm not gonna say the names because I don't want them to try to come pay me, but I was doing all the side hustles, like the driving places and stuff. Never did like someone in the car with me and nothing like that, but I would go get the groceries, go get your food. You get my drift, those companies. But I did everything I could to make sure my family had what they needed. But let's see, 25. She is clothed with strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future. So what I got from that verse is, like, you have trust in God, like, to the point that you laugh at anything that could scare you in the future. Like I've learned, because I used to be anxious about everything. Like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna da. And it's like, God's got you, girl. If he can take 2 fish and 5 loaves and break it up and feed 5,000, he can take your little chicken that you got now and some rice and feed your family of 5. He can figure that out. So let's laugh at the future because God is already in control. It's nothing to worry about. All right, 26. When she speaks, her words are wise, and she gives instructions with kindness. So you can't be somebody that cuts people down. You have to be kind in your words and selective with those words, because he says that when she speaks, her words are wise. Everything that comes out of your mouth may not be wise. So you have to be careful to make sure that you are saying the things that is okay with God, because he is wisdom. So, and if you don't want to speak death into someone, you want to speak the things that God desires you to speak over them. That's why on this channel, I'm trying to be really big on, hey, pray before you say. Because if I say something and God is not okay with it, what good am I doing? I'm not trying to get no glory from this. Trust and believe, I would rather be sleep in my bed right now, taking my shower, relaxing. But I'm going to be obedient in this season and the seasons going forward. So yeah. Now, 27. She carefully watches everything in her household and suffers nothing from laziness. So you have to be aware of what's going on in your house. And if you're not aware, ask God for it. Pray for it. One thing that I do, like when I pray over my children, I say, hey, God, help me to see things, help me to understand them in a way that I haven't. Give me a fresh love for them. Give me understanding of what they're going through or anything like that. And he'll give it to me. So do that. He will help you out with that. All right, 28. Her children stand and bless her. Her husband praises her. And with that one, I put her children and husband see her as a blessing. So your family, when you, like, I heard a pastor say this. He said, when your child says, hey, that was so good, mama, you're the best cook ever, you're the best this, you're the best that, and your husband be like, oh man, I'm just so lucky to have you. Those are the type of things that God is talking about. Like, you get that from your family. They see your worth. They see your value. They know who you are to them. And then this is very important. All right, so 29. 29 says, there are many virtuous and capable women in the world, but you surpass them all. Now, to me, that is favor, because he's saying that there's many of people like that. But you, because you're a wife of noble character and you serve the Lord, you surpass them. God looks at you better than them. Not like on a, oh, I'm not that kind, but he takes delight in you more because you are doing this for him. Okay, now 30. Charm is deceptive and beauty does not last. Let me read that one more time. Because I know as a woman, we want to be snatched all our lives. And we can be, but beauty does fade. It has to be more than you than just a pretty face. So charm is deceptive and beauty does not last. But a woman who fears the Lord will be greatly praised. So people, and I've noticed this, like, and I'm sure y'all can attest to this too. When you see somebody who you know are in God, and the world might not even see them as attractive or anything like that, but when you look at them, you see God's light through them, like you, and it just makes them appealing. It makes them like you can just tell, you know. And I feel like that's something that, like, kind of like you can, those who fear the Lord, those are the ones that get greatly praised because you can see it on them. You can see that God is important to them by just looking at them, because you can see his light shine through them, or how they speak, how they act, their character, the things that they do. And, you know, just, you can just tell that they're walking with the Holy Spirit. All right. And the last one is verse 31. Reward her for all she has done. Let her deeds publicly declare her praise. So let all the things that you do declare your praise. Let people know you for your good things. Let people know you for the things that you do well for the community, the character you have. I always said as a kid, like, I want to be, when I'm ready, when God ready to call me home and stuff like that and get me up out of here, I want the pastor to have so much to say that he don't even know where to start. Because I want people to know me for the fruits that God gave me. I don't want them to know, oh, well, she was this and she was that, she did this, she did that. I want my character to speak louder than anything I did. And that's important to me, because I know that nothing you do on this earth you can take with you, but how you made people feel and the impact you've done, that is going to serve you longer. It's not about what you did, it's about how you did it and who you did it for. That matters. And people will constantly remember you and look back on your life and be inspired. I mean, think about the historians, like, or just the people in the past, people from the civil rights movement, like, you know, Martin Luther King, all these people, like, they're not here anymore. They're gone, but we're still celebrating their legacy. So, you know, it's important to be that virtuous woman, be that wife of noble character, because your rewards are for what you've done. You get rewarded for that. Not saying you should look for that, because you should do it all for the glory for God, but God will reward you for that. The world will reward you for that, for doing the things that God has called you, because it says in his word, reward her for all she has done. You will get rewarded. You'll have blessings coming out of nowhere because of who you are. So I hope you all enjoyed this message. And I'll see y'all on the next one. I don't know what I'm going to talk about then. I don't know if I'm going to do it every Tuesday or what, but I'm trying my best to be consistent and obedient. So y'all keep me in prayer, and hope y'all have a good night, good morning, whatever it is. Enjoy the rest of your day. I love you. See you next time.